Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey, everyone. Duncan here with another episode of the Firebelly Social Show. I'm your host, Duncan Alney. I chat with founders and leaders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. Thank you for tuning into this latest episode. Got a great show for you. It's a really unique show because we have a returning guest. We've only had, I think, one other returning guest, and it's one of my favorite guests, Josh Sizemore. He is so many things. He is a serial entrepreneur. He started 4 or 5 other brands. He's highly accomplished. This is a guy that is on the go all the time. So I'm super excited to talk to him. This episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer together through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your brand, go to firebellymarketing.com or just hit me up directly on LinkedIn, Duncan Alney. So Josh, my man, welcome back to the show. So happy to have you here.
Yeah, man, good to be here. Thanks for having me back. I feel super special being one of the only returning guests.
Yes, you are, and you are super special. And I'll say for the audience that Josh was on the podcast and then hired Firebelly to do work on a TikTok program for one of his companies, and has actually become a friend of the company and a friend and advisor for me. So Josh, super thankful that we met, and I wanted to catch up today. I know you're doing, a lot of things like always, but you got one particular new thing you're doing. So let's tell everyone the genesis and the story behind that.
Yeah, so I think I want to surprise you because there's another thing that I'm going to jump into as well, and we can talk about that. But so we, I can't remember if we spoke about it last time I was on the pod, but we had been working on opening our first restaurant in Berkeley, for 2.5 years because of the dilapidated space we took over. It was just a 30-year-old restaurant that we had to kind of rebuild from the ground up, and it being in Berkeley, California, and all the red tape and construction and permitting, it just took so long. But we finally got it open this year, and it's doing really well. And we're actually opening our second, third location in Louisville and New Albany. And my wife, she's going to really be spearheading that movement, which I'm grateful for. And so yeah, it's been good, man. Like, restaurant business is interesting. My partner, Brandon Wilson, shout out to Brandon. He runs the day-to-day out in Berkeley, and he crushes, and it's just I'm glad to grateful to have him super close by and running the show out there. But super interesting business, man. But it's all about hospitality, and I mean, we have great food, and our hospitality, I think, second to none, and that's really what brings the people back and back and back. And that's kind of my middle name, is hospitality. I've used it in retail, I've used it in consumer goods, obviously restaurants, but it's just kind of across the board. You have to have it.
And not to mention the fact that I've seen the pictures on Instagram. It's a cool space. It is a super cool space.
Yeah, we it's definitely different for that Berkeley area. It's more like something you see like in LA or New York for sure. But that's kind of the point. We wanted it to be kind of over the top aesthetically, but when you come in, you get this hospitality feel that you don't get really anywhere else. So it's really unassuming, right? You don't know what you should go in because you don't want it to be too snooty. But when you get in, it's like down home, like you're treated like family. So I think that's a good combination.
That's super cool. And are you able to say the name?
314 Pizzeria is what it's called. We kind of classify it as a swanky pizza lounge. So little play on and 314 is a little play on the pi equation from Einstein. So
I was going to ask you about that, and I'm glad you explained that. So, value of pi, 3.14. So
yeah. Everyone thinks it's an area code at first. Well, not everyone. There's a couple of people who was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah.
That was me. I thought it was I thought it was the St. Louis area code. So That is super cool. I was thinking of we had a guest a few months ago who talked about Danny Meyer from Union Square Hospitality.
Yeah.
Set the table, saying to him when he sold his sparkling water into French Laundry, he's like, "Listen, you," and he was all anxious and stressed out. And Danny Meyer supposedly said to him, like, "Listen, you're going to succeed. Enjoy the journey." And I want to ask you, you've done this several times. Like, is that how you approach life? Kind of with, because you're always so zen, you're always so calm, you're always so collected. Is that how you approach life? You enjoy the journey?
Yeah, I think you have to, and it's such sporadic, traits and personalities, and where you came from, who you grew up around and with, and what geographical area you was in when you went through puberty probably, or was born. Like, there's so many different things that could play into it. So being from like a poor part of the country in southeastern Kentucky, growing up and seeing like just not good things, I think that's kind of how it built my mindset for everything in the future. Like, I'm really good at identifying things that I don't want to do, and things that I don't want to be like, and people I don't want to be like or be around. So by taking that kind of the opposite works in my head, is like, okay, I know I don't want to be or do or try these things. So let me try the opposite. Let me do the opposite. And yeah, I've always kind of been cool, calm, and collected, which has benefited me because, as everyone out there knows, as an entrepreneur, you have to be. You can't be up or down, or you'll get sideways quick. So you have to be kind of even keel, which is that's benefited me greatly over the many different brands I've started and been a part of.
I know we have to talk about the other new thing, but just on the same vein, I know you and I have both had health scares at different points in our life, and it does give you, I think it gives us, you, me, for people in this situation, like a couple of realizations that, hey, life is fragile and it's supremely awesome, and so, but you got to use the time.
Yeah.
It ties into,
And to your point, I think that's true, and like the I think also in that vein, I have a leg up on, which is not a good thing, because I've had a lot of hurt, anguish, death around me, in my family, very close to me over the years. My brother got murdered, my little brother got murdered, my best friend got killed, when I was 18, grandparents, dad died at 50, like a lot of things happened. So I don't think my health scare, which was out in the blue, because I'm healthy as the horse, but so anything can happen. But I don't think that triggered me to say, live life to the fullest. I think I did that because of, circumstances, but also because of the kind of the pain I went through. And again, the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, right? Some people lost their dog and they break down, and some people are, different. So,
I mean, I know one of the things that our conversation, whatever, like a year and some months ago now, inspired me was the intense commitment to self, so that you can serve other people. And sleeping and eating properly and hydrating and working out twice a day. I did it only in today. I did a double workout today. I usually do the one, but today I did a double. And I think those are the things that I think your message to other entrepreneurs is, you got one life, live it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you have one life, live it to the fullest, and anything can happen at any time. And you may not be aware of that because nothing's ever happened to you, or nothing's ever happened to someone close in your life. And I get it, I understand. But if you can really, convince yourself that it is only one life, then I think you can start taking more accountability of how to live it in regards to personal growth and personal development and, personal health and working out, eating right. If you can just do that for a few weeks, a month, and be consistent, you can start seeing like changes in your mental health, in your physical health, and then you just keep going. I've been lucky enough to, been, I guess, fortunate enough to understand that from an early age. Played team sports and from the time I was 7 to college, etc. But and then after that, I continued to work out and eat pretty healthy. Unless Friday or Saturday, that's my pizza and cheat days. But yeah, it's so important. I can't put an exclamation point on how important it is, because there's not really enough exclamation points to put on that. It's the most important thing.
And I think that, I've been active on LinkedIn for a long time, but I've been super diligent about it. And as I've gotten deeper into the food and beverage community and founders, there's a small section of founders who like to, glamorize not working too much and glamorize the hustle. Sunday, screw it, I'm working. What are you doing? And then, all the other Sunday workers will be like, look, I'm not saying that we shouldn't hustle, but I'm saying, hey, I think we all have to do it for a season, but you can't do it forever. You cannot work all the time forever. You have to take downtime.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, everybody's tolerance for pain is different. And then especially in the beginning, when you're trying to create a business, I think that's all you kind of know. You're running as hard as you can and as fast as you can to get to a result. It can be any result. But the more you do that, I think the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you understand, okay, well, this thing's going to be there Monday morning. I don't have to work Sunday. Or this thing's going to be, that's just kind of how you evolve as an entrepreneur and as a person. But I was the same way. I was 7 days a week, 24/7, that's how it was. And then you realize, well, these people are not responding to you because, well, they're taking time off. So, might as well do the same thing and pick it back up, Monday when people are in office, or whatever the circumstance may be.
Yeah, it's I think that's a really great insight that I hadn't thought about. It's like, hey, maybe if you're emailing people, they might be taking it easy. So that's a reason for you to take it easy. What's on your mind today? I'm curious to know. What do you want?
Yeah, so to get a good segue of talking about health and fitness. So I just joined a new brand. I got to keep it down low because it's on the kind of hush top secret at the moment. But I can tell you a few cool things about it. Couple patent pendings. It's a snack brand. We're gonna do chips and cookies. And to start out with, probably 4 SKUs of each. But the cool thing about this brand is it tastes amazing. The snacks do, but it's invented by doctors and scientists. So they were, over the last few years, they've been coming up with this concept and inventing this food product. And so let's say you're in a fasted state, and let's say you eat, one of these other brands that claim to be keto friendly, and so those brands likely will raise your blood sugar, 0.5 by 0.7 or above. Let's just put it like that. They'll raise your blood sugar. So we have a patent pending nutrient or ingredient, I should say, that when you eat the snacks, let's say you're in a fasted state for 15, 16, 20, 24, 48 hours, even a longer fast, you can actually eat 10 of our cookies, of these cookies. I shouldn't say our cookies yet, these cookies, and your blood sugar won't spike. And they've periodically and continuously been steadfast about checking this after every fast. And they've been doing this for like I said, years checking this just to validate. And that's something that no other product on the market really does. And these guys have patent for it. So I'm a food bev guy, and I'm so excited when I taste great food, and if there's an angle to it, and we can express that and get it to market and make people happier and healthier at the same time with good food, good tasting food. I love that. So I'm excited about this, and more to come on that one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think getting to know you are driven by innovation. Like, you love innovation, and so it doesn't surprise me one little bit. I mean, that's super cool, and I think we're gonna be standing by to hear more about that.
Yeah, just we can touch on whatever you all want to touch on, but I just want to give a couple shout outs. One to Roots chips. Yes. I don't know if you guys have ever had them, but there's a farmer in Idaho who's created this brand. It's called Roots. Amazing, better for you chips, and you go check them out because they're top notch. And organic, non-GMO, regenerative farming, all, everything applies to these this potato chip, and it's top notch. And secondly, I just got a sample pack of the new David protein bars, and 4 flavors. 2 of the 4 they knocked it out of the park with, and so just big shout out to Peter and those guys for that new protein bar. It's good stuff.
You introduced me to Roots and to Lad, and I love their mission. It's such a great mission. Regenerative farming. They do a lot with food banks, and potatoes with a purpose. I mean, that to me, it just flows off the tongue. And then thanks for the update on the David's bars. There's been so much hype around those. Yeah. So much hype. So,
yeah, they done a good job.
I mean, even the packaging is just like, it's in your face. It's gold, right?
Yeah, it's gold. Yeah,
it is super cool. Yeah, shout out to Peter. I forget his last name.
Raul.
Peter Raul and David's. And if you haven't heard about that yet, more to come on that. I think the better for you space seems to be getting more enthusiasm, despite all the kind of grim news in the startup space. Better for you seems to continue to be doing. I know Michelle Obama was promoting a drink. She was doing tastings at Costco for a drink that I think, is it Plezzy or something like that?
I don't know. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't hear about that one.
And the food and bev community on LinkedIn, man, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to think of the guy from Launchpad posted it, and he said, this is such a cool thing that she's doing. And it is, right? I mean, you don't expect Michelle Obama to be at Costco, doing tastings. I mean, that is, freaking ingenious, right? And the sales were off the charts.
I'm sure.
And what the LinkedIn community do, they tore the ingredients apart, man.
Of course.
They tore, well, this is, I mean, not saying that they're not right, but it's like, let's enjoy the good news. But Better for You is on fire. I know that there were people that went to Newtopia and said that mushrooms are still off the charts, and we're seeing news about people being really, really into the ingredients. People are really looking at the ingredients.
Yeah.
Really paying attention to protein. So I mean, those are encouraging indicators.
Yeah, to the nootropic point, I think there's a brand out there, a beverage brand. I think it's called Breeze. They're crushing, I think. But their packaging is amazing. I haven't tried the product, but I see a lot of it on LinkedIn. So look great.
Gosh, you know what we should do is we should have you and I should host a live tasting. Where the products come to you, the products come to me, and then we're tasting them.
That'd be cool.
That would be
that'd be cool. Yeah.
That would be fun. Yeah. So tell me what other things you're excited about. We want to get inside the mind of Josh Sizemore today.
Man, what am I excited about? It's a good question. I'm excited about this snack brand. Hugely excited about that. I'm excited that we're opening more restaurants, that we're able to do that. I'm excited my wife's going to be spearheading those efforts. Grateful that our Berkeley location is still kicking, and hopefully that'll continue. I don't know, man. I'm not excited. I'm not excited about this rain that we're having.
Yeah, I'm not excited about the election either. It feels like regardless of what direction the election goes in, the direction of the election, whatever direction it goes in, it's like there's, positives and negatives on either side.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, it seems to me like there's a lot of acquisitions going on with larger brands that are buying emerging brands. And then it looks like there were all these bleak things earlier this year. Shout out to David Mesa, who works in the, sales support space for CPG brands. He was talking about how he had heard that grocery stores were going to be shrinking the number of SKUs that they're carrying, especially new products.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that yet. I was curious to see if you've seen it. It still seems like there are a lot of new brands entering the market, despite interest rates, despite all the...
Yeah, for sure. There's always going to be new brands. I think where some of that rhetoric comes from is every grocery store brand has their own independent private label stuff that they're wanting to push more and more of. So that's going to take more shelf space up, and that's going to limit the shelf space for new brands, right? So the more they invest in their own white label private product, then that's going to take away from the new brands. But I think there's always going to be new brands, and it's kill or be killed. So if you can make it on the shelf, then it's all about the sell through and velocity. If you can sell, then you'll be back on the shelf, and you'll be back in another store, and then another store. You got to keep the velocity going, and that's why to your Michelle Obama point, that's how you have to be in those first 2-3 years. Is you have to show up in retail, and you have to give people a chance to try your product. You have to talk about it, and you have to do that. I know we talked about 24/7, but you have to do that 24/7 if you really want your brand to grow.
That is really fascinating. I also do think that there is definitely a globalization of the American palate. And so you're seeing a lot more adventurous and fun food products entering the market. Have you seen any of that?
Yeah, what's the most, not to go back, not to regress and continue to harp on it, but the new snack product that I'm getting involved with, it's probably one of the most innovative in regards to formulation and ingredient pertaining to your health. But I mean, there's so many all the time. Like, I think I saw what I see recently, like a whipped cream that was like a yogurt whipped cream or something, and which is pretty interesting and innovative. But there's it's in innovation. There's a line, right? There's a line of innovation in food and beverages. It can go one of two ways. It can go, there's a natural food, and you can be innovative and create something natural and great. And there's the innovative that, we got these mad scientists that can really do anything. They can make your marshmallows smell like bacon if you open them. There's kind of two levels to it, and there's a fine line. So there's going to always be innovation and over the top innovation with these scientists and chemists and things, just creating anything that you want from anything. Even in the meat world, right? Now you don't have to eat chicken from chicken. You eat chicken from a lab, right? So, or beef or whatever. So, and that's your preference. If you like that stuff, that's great. It's on you. But there's a lot of that stuff out there, and you can call it innovation or you can call it mad scientist stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what your thoughts on the velocity or the momentum around alcohol-free brands that are killing it and taking off like crazy.
Yeah, I just don't. Look, I've never been a fan of it, and because I don't understand it, because alcohol brand. So if you're gonna here in my point of view of it may be skewed, but this is how I see it. If you're gonna drink, if you like alcohol and you're going to drink a beer, you drink it to get a buzz. In my opinion, you don't drink beer because it tastes great. It tastes like piss. You drink beer, right? And so so now here's a beer, but it doesn't have the benefit of getting buzzed, but it does have the benefit of tasting like piss. Or here's a non-alcoholic drink that tastes like fruit punch, but it's non-alcoholic. But so why don't you just drink Kool-Aid or fruit punch? Or I just don't understand the non-alcoholic space. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot about inclusivity and developing options for people. At the same time, I just found out about zebra striping, which is the phenomena of people taking alcohol-free drinks, combining them with alcoholic beverages. So, it's like you're buying, like, for example, you're buying a, whatever, alcohol-free beverage, and then it tastes so good, or maybe it has THC in it, or maybe it has, I don't know, nootropics in it, and then you're putting, tequila in it. And so that is...
alcohol, like if it's alcohol-free and it has nootropics or some other benefit, like I see that space. But I just don't see you giving me you're giving me a ginger ale and saying that's a non-alcoholic drink. Yeah, no shit, it's a ginger ale. Like, I don't understand the point of it.
I mean, it's interesting. I know you saw the post the other day about Ted Dumbald's company Sono 1420, and it's a maritime whiskey, but it has cannabis infusion.
Okay.
And I was so impressed with the guy. He's such a cool guy. He's a nuclear naval officer on a nuclear submarine, MBA, and then got into medical cannabis, and then he's doing this. But they won two gold medals for best whiskey at San Francisco. And
that's
so,
awesome.
I mean, I know that you're one of the people that believes change is the only thing that we're not going to stop getting is change. But I was like, I'd not heard of a cannabis infused whiskey before.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just don't know how, again, regulation and stuff. I don't know if that's going to be readily available everywhere. Just California. I mean, that's another issue. So I think eventually, that'll be the next thing in alcohol beverages. Infusing, nootropics or cannabis or whatever. Once they put the legalization on that type of product, and it could be great. I'm not against it. I'd love to try it.
What do you say, Josh? To 22-year-old Josh. What do you say to Josh? 20 years ago.
Be more family oriented. Stick closer to your family.
That's really deep. I love that. I mean, that's what's important at the end of the day, right? I think I talk to so many founders just like you, and it's amazing how I'll try to ask them this question. It's like, what do you do for fun? No, man, I don't have any fun. You work out? No, I don't have time to work out. What's your eating regimen like? I don't have an eating regimen. You drinking water? Are you sleeping? No, I'm not. I'm drinking. sleep 4 hours or 5 hours a night. And, I don't remember to drink water. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how I'm surprised that early stage investment, later stage investment isn't assessing, or maybe they are, and I don't know. I want to ask you this question. Is founder health part of the evaluation in a private equity deal?
Yeah, to a certain extent, it definitely is, especially if the founder is the CEO and they are a home run, and that PE group wants that CEO to stay on, for years and years and years. Like, that's a big risk for them to come in if they're unhealthy. So I think it's a great point too, by the way.
Because you don't see that, right? I mean, I know you're on LinkedIn a lot. I've not heard that being talked about. Like, hey, how's your health?
Yeah,
going to come up.
No, it's a great point, and the due diligence should include that for sure.
I mean, if you have to go take a physical, to get a significant life insurance policy, you'd think that you'd have to get a physical to take, $5 million or $20 million in investment or more. It's right. Like, you can't have any interruptions in my situation. Well, I wanted to ask you, we had started this conversation a few months ago about early stage investment. And, there's so many founders with great ideas. They go into farmers markets, they're hustling, they're getting it done. What do you say to them with early stage investment? Do you say, hey, bootstrap it because control means you're going to be able to execute on your vision more, or, you're going to be a bottleneck, go get investments?
Yeah. I mean, every circumstance is different. There's not one approach that's better than the other. It depends on the product. It depends on the team. It depends on like what you see in the future for the brand. Do you want to sell? Do you want to like? I think that's it's just hard to say. There's no one size fits all for that question. So I would say, I think if you have a great product and you have a great idea and it's been proven by your friends and family that it's a good market fit, and it's a direct to consumer product, I think you have a lot of advantages. If it's easy shipped, if you have good margins, it's a very, very, you have almost the same advantages as Coca-Cola because of digital technology and social media. I mean, you can scale a brand really, really rapidly. And if you have some good margins, then hopefully you can be, cash flow positive pretty quickly. And I would say take that route, continue on and grind, bootstrap it all the way you can, make some money online, and then go get investment, to take you into retail and other things.
That's really, really insightful, Josh. And I just want to thank you so much for always being such a transparent guy and for always just keeping it real. And I love your advice. You have one life. Be sure to live it fully. This has been another episode of the Firebelly Social Show with your host, Duncan Olney. That's me, sponsored by Firebelly Marketing, specializing in social media marketing for mission-driven food and beverage brands. If you'd like to set your brand on fire and get your community excited about you, go to firebellymarketing.com or hit me up on LinkedIn. Thank you once again for listening. We love you. We appreciate you. We shine our light on founders. We're making the world better. And thank you to them. And thank you to you for listening. And see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time. And be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.